remains controversial.
Mrs. Hollander?
Yes.
I'm Brock Callahan, special investigator. I want to talk to you about your deceased husband.
Well, why go into it again? I told the police everything I know. What Jeff did to himself was simply awful. I want to forget about it.
Oh, I'm sorry to have intruded on your, grief.
You're standing in my sun.
The Golden Age of Television presents The Silent Kill with Ken Clark, Randy Stewart, and Richard Shannon after these messages. The Golden Age of Television presents The Silent Kill.
Coach Sid Gilman and my former teammates, the Rams, were taking their lumps from the Redskins in an exhibition game. While here I sat, old Brock the Rock Callahan. And you think my mind was on the play? No, sir. All I could think about was Beverly Hills' dimmest private eye, me. My office rent was due in the morning, my car needed a new muffler, and my best girl was working late tonight. Her name is Jan Bonnet. She manages a shop on La Cienega Boulevard for a decorator who caters to the carriage trade. When you consider that he pays Jan more each month than I've been making in 3, there must be a big trade in carriages. Sid, what that new halfback needs is a ball with a handle on it.
His wife won't even let him hold a baby anymore.
Mr. Callahan, there's a lady asking for you.
In the Rams locker room?
On the phone. Says it's urgent. Says her name's Jan.
Jan? Hanging by the neck.
Yes, in the shop right next door. Oh, Brock, I think it's Mr. Hollander. Oh, what'll I do? Shall I call the police?
No, Jan, don't you do anything. I'll call the police. You just sit down and try not to think. I'll be right there. Lieutenant Pascal, please.
Pascal.
Lieutenant, this is Callahan.
Brock Callahan? Say, what's the matter with the Rams? I understand they're 7 points behind the Redskins.
Listen, Lieutenant, will you forget about the Rams for a minute? My girl just called, and there's a man hanging by his neck in Hollander and Gilmore on La Cienega Boulevard.
Why'd you say so before?
Broken neck, crushed larynx. I'd say he did it between 8 and 9 o'clock. All right, boys.
Now, according to you,
Lieutenant, the guy outside wants inside. Says to tell you it's Callahan.
Okay, let him in. Now, according to you, you say that Jeff Hollander here and his partner Michael Gilmore closed up shop at 7:30.
Brock! Oh, Brock!
Everything will be all right. It's been a shock for her.
For Hollander, too. Now, Hollander and Gilmore left separate in their own cars, right?
Oh, yes, that's right. I was working late on some sketches tonight, so I saw them leave.
But Gilmore came back.
You know, he drove up about, I'd say 8:30. I came over here to see him for a minute, and he picked up a letter that he'd forgotten, and we went outside, and he drove away.
At about 8:35.
About then, yes. I closed up at 9 o'clock, and...
Lieutenant, 2 things, sir. The reporters are here, and they want to come in.
Tell them I'll give them a statement as soon as we're finished in here. Jeff Hollander tried to kill himself once before, about 2 years ago, but we got to him in time. What's the other thing?
Middle of the second quarter, sir. The Rams followed up that field goal with a touchdown and a conversion.
10-7. Who says the Rams went to pieces when you retired?
You always said, Lieutenant, not me.
Oh, I still think you had a season or 2 left in you.
Oh, he's got more than that.
The next morning, I got an urgent call from Jan to meet her at the Valhalla Memorial Park. She said the dead man's partner, Michael Gilmore, wanted to see me right away. Gilmore was a top decorator, and I figured he wanted his partner to get the best decorated grave in the park. I found them waiting for me near the marriage chapel.
Mr. Gilmore, Mr. Callahan.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Mr. Gilmore wants to hire you, Brock.
You do?
My partner did not kill himself.
Did you say this to the police?
I did not.
You know the official verdict was suicide. Hollander tried it before.
That was pure dramatics. He had a big fight with his son, Ellison, over his new wife, Linda. He never really meant to kill himself.
He sure meant it this time.
He's been a changed man lately. He and Linda were planning to travel. He was all excited about it. We were working on a deal for me to buy his share of the company. Why would he kill himself when he was virtually ready to sign the paper?
You know anybody who wanted him dead?
Actually, no. Let's just say this is a feeling I have. Miss Bonnet tells me your fee is $50 a day plus expenses.
That's right.
Here's $500 to start. Somewhere right now, someone is secure in the knowledge that he killed Jeff Hollander and got away with it because he made it look like suicide. I want that person found out. Do you understand?
Maybe. What about his new wife or his son?
That's for you to find out.
Just like that, huh?
Like that.
What kind of a woman is Mrs. Hollander?
If this were London, you'd find her in Soho. Paris, Pigalle.
How about L.A.?
Any bar at 5:30.
Young?
Yes, with a one-word vocabulary. Yes.
I take it you didn't approve of this marriage.
Thank you for bringing Mr. Callahan in on this. I feel better already.
You're entirely welcome, Mr. Gilmore.
A pleasure.
Bye.
You know, he's quite a chain smoker.
Mr. Hollander was even more so. Decorating's a highly competitive business, you know.
So's being a private eye. Well, anyway, I got $500 for it.
Brock, you have an absolute talent for being crude at the wrong time.
Come here, baby. Let me put a head on that.
My trouble is, I like crude men.
The Beverly Hills Police Department is an oasis located in a desert of traffic just off Santa Monica Boulevard. This is where Lieutenant Pascal spends every waking hour, and he suffers from acute insomnia. I thought I'd better use a subtle approach, break it to him in easy stages. So I'm working on the Hollander case.
The what?
Gilmore thinks someone killed Hollander, and he's paying me $500 to prove it.
Gilmore's got more dollars than he's got sense, and you believe him. You've been reading too many paperback novels. Look, you were the best guard the Rams ever had. Why do you want to keep messing around this detective business anyway?
It's a fool's trade, and I'm just a man for it. Okay if I stick my nose in?
You're wasting your time. I don't mind that. But you're wasting mine, too, and I hate that. I talked to all three. The wife, the son, and your client. Believe me, they're as clean as a hound's tooth.
Oh, I've known some pretty dirty hounds.
All right. Go make yourself some folding money, but walk on eggs and keep in touch every step of the way.
Thanks, Lieutenant.
The golden age of television will continue in a moment.
Mrs. Hollander?
Yes.
I'm Brock Callahan, special investigator. I want to talk to you about your deceased husband.
Well, why go into it again? I told the police everything I know. What Jeff did to himself was simply awful. I want to forget about it.
Oh, I'm sorry to have intruded on your, grief.
You're standing in my son.
My client is convinced your husband was murdered.
Isn't it just like that flip?
You lost me there.
Ellison.
Oh, Hollander's son, you mean?
I mean that flip. Your client, my husband's son, yes. It's been grand.
Mind if I ask you just one more question?
One of the best. Like he's a black belt.
What's the other guy, black and blue belt?
Man, you gotta know how to fall. If you don't know how to fall, you're through. You're not with it.
That's a good philosophy. You just stick with it. Mr. Hollander? My name's Callahan.
Oh, sure, Brock the Rock. Never missed a game of yours. Home games, anyway. Going in for judo now?
No, it's too late. Last season with the Rams, I could have used a little, though. Can we talk?
Sure.
I'm a private investigator now.
How's crime in the county these days?
Not enough to go around in Beverly Hills.
Well, things are tough all over.
I hear you had some trouble with your dad a couple of years ago. He tried to take his life because of it.
Who told you that, Linda?
Chemically, Linda and I don't hit it off. Linda wouldn't tell me what day it is. How about it?
It's Thursday.
Thanks.
Well, why are you asking so many questions?
Because some people think your father didn't kill himself. Some people think he had a helping hand.
Who'd want to kill Dad?
Well, from left to right, Linda Hollander, your stepmother. Michael Gilmore. Maybe even you.
I'd watch that. I'd watch it real good.
Well, nothing personal. You come in for quite a slice, I'm told. About $250,000.
What about Linda?
What about Linda?
She gets half the estate. That's the law in California.
Your dad died between 8:30 and 9. If he was killed, Linda didn't do it. She was at the Hilton Bar from 7:45 on, and 6 witnesses can stack Bibles to that effect. Police records show you were out riding between 8:30 and 9 in your sports car. You came here for a workout. Anybody see you?
How would I know?
Well, where'd you been? Where were you going?
Just going in a sports car, that's it. You just go. Now, look, Mr. Callahan, I don't know why you're nosing around or who hired you. But get off my back, huh?
Just one more question. If you could drive your dad to try to take his life a couple of years ago, why couldn't you have done a repeat for the West Coast Wednesday night? After dinner, I played 20 questions with Mr. Gilmore. It was just about midnight by the time I'd finished. I went home without a single answer. It wasn't anything anybody had said. If you put it all together, you couldn't have stuffed an anchovy with it. Don't ask me why, but I began to believe someone had killed Hollander. I'd have to get busy in the morning with who and how. But then suddenly I got even busier.
If I were you and somebody chopped me to bits, I'd be in bed, not sitting here.
And if I were you and had a badge in my pocket, I'd be out trying to find Ellison. In fact, I'm going to do it anyway.
Now, slow down, Brock. I'm sorry. We have no proof it was Ellison.
Well, the next time somebody uses judo on me, I'll insist on a formal introduction. I tell you, it must have been him.
There are at least 2,000 judo experts in the county.
Yeah, but 1,999 of them have no reason to put stockings over their head and try to take me out of circulation.
That's just guesswork, not proof.
Then why has Ellison disappeared?
Just because you can't locate him doesn't mean he's disappeared. You're taking 2 and 2 and trying to make it add up to an 8-ball to get Ellison behind.
Oh, I got him one sweet solid punch to the right eye. If I can just get a good look at Junior's profile, I'll make an 8-ball out of it, all right. And I'll bank him into a corner cell. You got Hollander's stuff?
I don't know why I do these things for you.
Is this everything Hollander had in his pockets when he was found?
Yeah, right down to the lint.
Sure. Look, his cigarettes.
I'm looking. There's 2 left, so what?
But that's it. Gilmore told me every word Hollander said that last evening. He and Gilmore were closing up. They stood in a doorway, and Hollander offered Gilmore a cigarette. There are only 4 left in the pack. Now, Gilmore remembers that because when he took one, and Hollander took one, that only left Hollander 2.
2 from 4 is 2. That's pretty advanced stuff, even for me, Callahan.
Hollander was a chain smoker.
And there was still 2 left in the pack we found on his body an hour and a half later. Being a chain smoker, either he'd smoked those 2 cigarettes, or he'd had to kill himself right after 7:30.
Which he didn't, because Gilmore came back at 8:30 and Jan went in with him, and Hollander wasn't there at that time.
He couldn't have bought another pack and smoked it down to just 2 by the time he killed himself.
Now, doesn't that strike you as pretty strange?
Yeah. Yeah, it sure is.
Now, suppose these cigarettes are like a watch that gets smashed during an accident and sets the time. Suppose he was killed right after he left the shop at, say, 7:30. And suppose he was brought back just after 8:30 and strung up.
On the Hollander suicide, I want to reopen the case and talk to the medical examiner who did the autopsy.
I was really disappointed not to find Linda at the pool for more reasons than one. I was told that a Mr. Bowman, a young art student, had picked her up bright and early to take her to the San Fernando Art Institute out in the valley. But I was too late. As I got there, the poor little grief-stricken widow was waving her sad farewells. I may have a game knee, but my vision is still 20/20, and I was able to get his license number. Girls, excuse me, I think I just saw a friend of mine driving away in that car. That Linda Hollander you waved to?
We didn't wave at her, we waved at him.
What he sees in an older woman, I don't know.
Probably a mother fixation. What's his name?
John Bowman. He's wonderful in sculpture.
He's wonderful, period.
Something about John Bowman looked familiar. Too familiar. Something about him reminded me of Ellison Hollander.
Oh, hello, Brock.
Hi.
Well, it was murder, all right. He was killed somewhere else and brought back to the shop to make it look like suicide.
Well, how was he killed?
That was the tricky part. The broken neck and the crushed larynx. Just the right touches to make us think he hung himself. But actually, he was killed the way the commandos killed during the war. A chopping blow with the edge of the hand across the Adam's apple. The silent kill.
Oh, a judo punch, huh?
We got an all-points bulletin out for Ellison Hollander. Brock, you better stay out of dark corners. Next time you might wind up dead.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Because Jan keeps telling me she wants me all warm, muscle-bound, and alive. Oh, by the way, could you check this license number for me? It's NBN 828. Car belongs to a guy by the name of John Bowman.
Oh, I care about John Bowman.
Well, from what I saw the back of his head when he was driving with Linda, he looks an awful lot like Ellison.
Well, why didn't you say so before? What was the license number?
NBN 828.
Get out on all units on this license number, NBN 828.
I got Bowman's address all right, but he didn't show. So I took a chance and went back to the Art Institute. I was in luck, for as I parked, his license plate glared back at me.
I'm afraid you're mistaken.
I was, but not anymore. You really are John Bowman, aren't you?
Certainly. Who are you?
I'm the guy who blacked your eye. You know, I was doing someone a terrible injustice. I thought you were Ellison Hollander. Name mean anything to you?
I think you'd better leave. Only students and instructors are allowed in here.
Oh, I'm a student, all right. I took a class in advanced bodybuilding last night. Where'd you learn judo? Or did you just study it to help frame Ellison?
I'm warning you.
Come on. Try me now, Bowman, face to face. You won't make
that call.
You know why? Because you killed Hollander. You and Linda parked a block away from Hollander's shop under a street lamp. And then you set up a trap, didn't you?
I've got nothing to say to you.
You were necking deliberately where you'd be seen. Hollander had to come that way to get to the hotel, and he could hardly miss seeing Linda's pink station wagon. He jammed on his brakes and came charging over. Linda got in his car for a quiet family-type chat. And that's when you moved in and chopped him across the Adam's apple. Linda ran back to her car, drove to the hotel, and set her alibi into motion. You drove around in Hollander's car for about an hour, the body on the floor. Somehow you kept the body warm. My guess is you rigged up an electric blanket. Then just after 8:30, you strung him up and left his car out back. How's it sound?
Okay, boys. Now, why couldn't you tackle like that 2 years ago against the 49ers?
I was just a growing boy in those days. What are you guys doing here?
L.A. police spotted his car and called us. What about him?
Well, that's Bowman. He did it, aided by Linda Hollander. Check him out and you'll find plenty of proof.
Pretty sharp pair. If we buy the suicide, great. If we don't, they have a perfect pigeon set up in Ellison Hollander, complete with judo and black belt.
I always say there's nothing like a well-rounded education in the arts.
Where are you going?
I got a girl who loves big, brainy athletes.